Imagine a time with no electricity, running water or supermarkets. A time when the conveniences we take for granted today were non-existent and daily life was a constant struggle for survival. The Middle Ages, spanning roughly from the 5th to the 15th centuries, were like this. It was a period marked by hardship and simplicity, where every day was a test of endurance and resilience. Life was tough, especially for children. They weren't treated like kids today. Instead, they were seen as small adults with duties and responsibilities. From dawn till dusk, their lives were filled with tasks that contributed to the family's survival. From a young age, children were expected to contribute to the family and their survival. They helped with chores, worked in the fields, and learned essential skills from their parents. Their childhood was a time of learning and labor, not play. Life expectancy was short, and childhood ended early. Many children didn't live to see adulthood, and those who did were often burdened with the responsibilities of adulthood far too soon. Children, even as young as 5 or 6, had to work hard. They carried firewood, fetched water, and tended to animals. Their small hands were always busy, and their days were long and tiring. Their daily lives were filled with chores, and they learned skills essential for survival. Boys learned to farm, hunt, and protect their homes, while girls were taught to cook, sew, and manage the household. This essay explores how children in the Middle Ages lived, learned, and faced the challenges of their time. It delves into their daily routines, the skills they acquired, and the harsh realities they endured. Their world was vastly different from ours, with a clear divide between rich and poor. The children of peasants and nobles led very different lives, yet they shared the common experience of growing up in a time of great difficulty. Peasant children toiled alongside their parents in the fields, while noble children enjoyed a more privileged upbringing. They had access to education and leisure, but they too were expected to learn the skills necessary to manage their estates. Yet, regardless of their social standing, medieval children shared common experiences that shaped their lives and contributed to the fabric of their society. They played together, learned from each other, and faced the same harsh realities of their time. From sunrise to sunset, children in the Middle Ages were constantly busy. Their days were filled with tasks vital to their family's survival. Peasant children, boys and girls alike, helped with farming. They planted seeds, pulled weeds, and harvested crops. They also tended to livestock, feeding chickens, milking cows, and herding sheep. Household chores were another significant part of their responsibilities. Girls learned to cook over open fires, fetch water from wells, and spin wool into yarn. Boys chopped firewood, helped with repairs, and ran errands for their families. These chores were not seen as burdens, but as necessary contributions to the household. Food was often scarce in the Middle Ages, and the struggle to find enough to eat was a daily reality for many. Markets were sparse, and families had to make do with what little they could find or grow themselves. Children's diets were simple and repetitive, often consisting of the same basic foods day after day. They ate what their parents could provide, which was usually not much. Bread, a staple food, was made from coarsely ground wheat or rye. This bread was often dense and hard, a far cry from the soft loaves we enjoy today. It was a crucial part of their diet, providing much-needed sustenance. Vegetables like turnips, onions, and cabbages were common. These hardy vegetables could be grown in small gardens and were essential for adding variety to their meals. Fruits were seasonal treats, eagerly awaited and enjoyed when available. Apples, berries, and other fruits provided a sweet contrast to the otherwise bland diet. Meat, a luxury for most, was reserved for special occasions or consumed in small quantities. When a family could afford it, meat was a prized addition to their meals, often saved for celebrations or important events. Children's meals were typically smaller portions of what adults ate. They learned to be content with less and to savor the rare moments when they could enjoy something special. They rarely had access to sweets or treats. Sugar was a rare and expensive commodity, and most children grew up without ever tasting the sugary delights we take for granted today. Milk was available but often turned sour quickly. Without modern refrigeration, dairy products had a very short shelf life, and families had to consume them quickly or find ways to preserve them. Water, sometimes flavored with herbs, was the primary source of hydration. Clean water was not always easy to come by, and adding herbs helped to improve the taste and sometimes even the safety of the water. Despite the limitations, children learned to appreciate the food they had and developed a taste for the flavors of their time. They grew up understanding the value of every meal and the effort it took to put food on the table. Formal education was a privilege reserved for the wealthy in the Middle Ages. Most children learned through observation and imitation. Boys often followed their fathers into the fields or workshops, acquiring skills through apprenticeship. Girls learned domestic skills from their mothers, becoming adept at spinning, weaving, and managing a household. The church played a significant role in the lives of medieval children. Religious instruction was common, and children learned basic prayers and Bible stories. Some were taught to read and write, primarily for religious purposes. For most, however, practical skills essential for their daily lives took precedence over formal education. Section 5. Toil and Labor, a Child's Burden. Child labor was an accepted part of medieval society. Children as young as 7 or 8 worked alongside adults in various occupations. They labored in fields, workshops, and even mines. While some tasks like gathering firewood or running errands were age-appropriate, others were dangerous and physically demanding. Children working in mines faced harsh conditions, inhaling dust and working in cramped, poorly ventilated spaces. Those employed in textile workshops faced long hours of repetitive work, often operating looms and other machinery. Despite the risks and hardships, child labor was essential for many families' survival. Section 6. A world apart: peasant and noble children. A vast gulf separated the lives of peasant and noble children in the Middle Ages. Peasant children's lives revolved around work and survival. Their days were filled with chores and labor, leaving little time for leisure or play. In contrast, noble children enjoyed a more privileged upbringing. Noble children were spared from manual labor and received private tutoring at home. Boys were trained in horsemanship, swordsmanship, and courtly manners, preparing them for future roles as knights or lords. Girls learned etiquette, music, and needlework, skills deemed essential for ladies of their social standing. Section 7. Small victories, constant struggles. Life for medieval children was a constant struggle for survival. Diseases like measles, smallpox, and the plague were rampant, and infant mortality rates were high. Those who survived faced the ever-present threat of famine, war, and natural disasters. Yet amidst these challenges, children found moments of joy and resilience. Simple games and toys provided moments of escape. Wooden dolls, balls of yarn, and homemade slingshots brought laughter and entertainment. Festivals and religious holidays offered opportunities for celebration and merriment. These brief respites from the harsh realities of their time provided children with a sense of normalcy and hope. Section 8. The forging of resilience. The hardships of medieval childhood instilled in children a remarkable sense of resilience and resourcefulness. They learned to adapt to challenging circumstances, finding innovative solutions to everyday problems. They developed a strong work ethic, understanding the importance of contributing to their families and communities. The bonds of family and community were particularly strong in the Middle Ages. Children relied on each other for support and companionship. They learned the value of cooperation, sharing the burdens and triumphs of daily life. These experiences forged a sense of unity and interdependence that sustained them through difficult times. Section 9. Echoes of childhood past. While the lives of medieval children may seem harsh and unforgiving by today's standards, they were a product of their time. These children were often expected to contribute to the household from a very young age, whether it was through helping in the fields, tending to animals, or assisting with household chores. It's essential to remember that they lived in a different time with different values and expectations. Family units were tight-knit, and every member had a role to play. The skills they learned were crucial for survival, and were passed down through generations. Their experiences, though challenging, shaped them into resilient, resourceful individuals. These children learned the importance of hard work, perseverance, and community from an early age. They contributed significantly to the development of their society, often taking on responsibilities that would be considered too demanding for children today. Their efforts were vital in maintaining the household and supporting the community. As we look back on the lives of children in the Middle Ages, we gain a deeper appreciation for the progress we've made in child welfare and education. The contrast between their lives and the lives of children today is stark. We see how far we've come in ensuring that children have the opportunity to learn, play, and grow in a safe and nurturing environment. Modern education systems and child welfare policies are designed to protect the rights and well-being of children. Their stories serve as a reminder of the importance of protecting and nurturing children, ensuring that they have the opportunity to thrive and reach their full potential. By reflecting on the past, we can better appreciate the advancements we've made and continue to strive for a brighter future for all children. The echoes of childhood past remind us of the resilience and strength of the human spirit and the enduring importance of community, family, and education in shaping the lives of future generations.